Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Kristin.
Hello, Suzette.
How are you this evening?
I am well, thank you.
We are into fall, aren't we?
Yes, you know what?
Yeah.
I love it. I love the fall weather. It's sweater weather,
Really?
as they say.
Okay.
Wink,
yes,
wink. That's an inside joke.
They do say that. But what comes after fall?
What? Florida?
Florida, yes, Florida. So, Kristin, what's going on?
Speaking of the holidays,
yes,
we have launched our Go Local program. So we're now selling gift cards instead of Mystic Dollars, but it is the same idea in that you are shopping locally. So if you are looking to buy a present for somebody who already has everything, or if you're an employer for your employees, a bonus, any kind of event where they have an auction, you can have these are gift cards and you can buy it for any amount. So then they can be spent at over 100 places in Mystic and you're keeping it local.
I think it's fantastic. And also the business that have signed up.
Yes.
There's a lot of us that have signed up. We're very, very excited about it this year.
Yeah.
And the fact that it has replaced those old-fashioned little Mystic Dollars, which has been a great engine and networking for the businesses. So
it has,
that's fantastic.
So we're proud of that. So stop by the chamber office and you can get those. And then the business after hours is tomorrow, and that is at Mystic Luxury Cinemas. We're celebrating the 30th anniversary of Mystic Pizza, the movie. And we're going to be able to see a screening of it. So wear your scrunchies.
Yes, wear your scrunchies. But didn't you say at last week's show that we could also dress up as in the 80s?
I only told you that, so you're going to be the only one that shows up that way.
Okay, so nobody listened to Kristin. I was going to show up in that Dynasty look or Falcon Crest or whatever that look was, but I guess I'd be the only one showing up. But as long as we have wine.
We do have wine.
Okay, as long as we have wine.
Speaking of parties. I can tell you what, I'm ready.
I am ready. So, we do a lot of shows on Mystic Matters and happy to do them. And every once in a while, you just get that one show where you go, huh?
What?
I think this is so different.
What?
This is fantastic. And whoever came up with the idea is great.
I know, it's like busting the doors out of Mystic.
Yeah, and you sent over me the information. I just think it's wonderful. So we are here in Mystic, Connecticut, going to witness, going to go to and support the
very first
international
Vaudeville
con.
Vaudeville con.
Vaudeville con, I'm telling you, never to have happened. Ever. I mean, talk about, setting it up and living back into the roaring 20s kind of thing. I mean, I can still do that. Well, not that I was born back then, but I could do it. So that's what we have, and we're going to showcase that this evening. So I want to welcome back, but not, sort of to the studio, but not really an old-timer to the studio, but you'll probably recognize him as Chris Annino to my right. Hi, Chris. Chris Annino in the house right there, international award-winning filmmaker. So welcome back, Chris.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And with me actually is the associate producer Robert Bell on to my right, and he's also the resident blues historian here. And then we have Bethanny Diekmann, who is also helping me with a film collaborative where I'm trying to teach people film for free. And we're now working with people who have disabilities and whichever else, and we're co-founding the Pawcatuck VFW Players.
That's fantastic. So I think before we set it up and go into the video, that we want to make sure people understand this is a fundraiser and it's also a food drive for the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center. So a great way to support the arts, to get to know the arts a little bit better, to support the blues, and fundraising and the food drive for the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center. So, Chris, what should we do first?
We could definitely show the promo because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then we can get into the meat and potatoes of this if you like.
Yeah, I think we go right into the promo. So, Frank, you're on.
Hi, this is Karosha Ona, Queen of the Paranormal. And October 26th, I would love you to go to Pawcatuck VFW for the Vaudeville Con. You're going to be able to see the screening of Silent Times, the movie I'm in. but I'm not going to be there. But I want you to go. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.
I'm ECW original Angel Orsini, and I'm going to be at Vaudeville Con October 26th at the Pawcatuck VFW. Be there.
That's amazing.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Where do we begin?
Well,
This is untapped.
Now, have you had this event like in your pocket and you're just like waiting?
I just always liked the 1920s, and I really enjoyed what that was back then, because it really was the foundation to what we have today. And I think everything comes in a cycle, and I think right now music in general, like right now, is coming back to that. And it's a true musician is someone who can perform the blues, And so like that's the biggest emphasis we're trying to do, is also mention the blues. And my esteemed colleague here, Bob, he's got a lot of information. In fact, he brought his book here. And again, the silent feature film that I did, and we won at Unreal's Film Festival, we highlighted certain aspects and certain characters. In fact, we took Bob and made him, it was a combination of
Johnson.
Yeah, Robert Johnson.
Yeah, and Blind Lemon Jefferson.
Blind Lemon Jefferson. So it was Thunderpick Jefferson he played in the silent feature film that we shot locally here. And we brought, we had several very famous people come in, like Olga Kurkalina. She played Mother Rush in Kick-Ass 2. WWE legend Ron Bass, he wrestled in WrestleMania. Killer Bee Brian Blair, wrestled in WrestleMania 3. Kadroja Onakero, who was just in that, she is dubbed Queen of the Paranormal. She does a lot of psychic medium stuff, gets invited everywhere.
How do you
Rick
know
Silver.
these people? Like, where do they live? Do they live here?
No, they live all around the world. Olga lives in Israel. She was also...
Yeah, I just
That's
think, I mean,
amazing.
Chris, this has been a dream of yours, and you've been involved with the theater and film for such a long time, that this is...
It was a
For
collaborative. It
you.
was a collaborative effort. So honestly,
Right.
it was a big
Right.
collaborative effort. Like, and honestly, like, you know, Bob, I mean, you should really talk about like why we were really trying to push the blues.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, yeah, I mean, what Chris and I was trying to capture was every aspect of that time, and the blues was a big important part of the film, bringing it into that time period. And so Chris said, look, give me a little information about it. And so I said, well, okay, well, then we have to start from the very beginning.
You took a 6-month course
Yeah.
after that.
We started from the very beginning, and I took Chris all the way back to Africa. And that's predominantly where it came from. At the time period, they communicated with their drums. And so everything was done, excuse me, through their drums. And when they came to America, they were forbidden to speak their language. So everything that was far as communication was through drums. So when they made it to the plantation, they had what they call field hollerers. And field hollerers were the ones that nowadays we would consider as the lead singer. And what a field holler would do was he would come up with a tone, a rhythm, and based upon what they remember from Africa, and he would start singing, and then they had what they call and response. So the field holler would call, and then the guys who worked the fields would respond to that call. But it was also a form of communication, which the slave masters didn't know what it was. So when they would sing songs like, oh, you hurting me today, I'm leaving you tomorrow, they were talking about running away from the plantation. But the masters didn't understand that at the time. They just thought they were just singing a song. So their communication was done through that. And that went into their churches. And their churches were basically the same thing, call and respond. That was the lead singer and the choir. And from that point, the musicians at that time, like Robert Johnson and people from that era, they wanted to move out of the churches. They wanted to move into the spotlight. They heard about the North, and they heard about Chicago and Texas and places like that, so they wanted to move out of there. And they did. They expand Muddy Waters, okay? There was so many people back then that started this that never got mentioned, never made the Hall of Fame. People don't even know who they are. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, a lot of people think that song, You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, was Elvis Presley. Well, Elvis Presley didn't write that song. A woman by the name of Big Mama Thornton wrote that song, and she wrote many other songs. And it just progressed even through the country music. So what the blues did, it took us out of the square dance, because we would probably still be doing the square dance hadn't it been for the blues, because it transitioned into rock and roll. Muddy Waters put it the best. He said blues had a baby and they named it rock and roll. And from that point, Chuck Barris took it over, and he did something that was really unique at that time period, because you got to remember we had Jim Crow laws, we had all these different laws going on, and at Chuck Barris concerts, they used to run a rope right down the center of the theater, and you had Caucasians on one side, and you had African Americans on the other side, and the rope was to divide them. And when Chuck would come on and perform, the rope came down, okay? And then you had a mix of both, enjoying the music and enjoying the concert. Well, unfortunately for Chuck, at the prime of his time, they didn't like that. They didn't like that integration. So they put it to a point and they set him up and said that he was raped a minor, which was totally bogus. And he spent a lot of time in prison for that. And that's what they wanted, to get him out of the way, because they didn't like the integration going on. While he was away, they took some of his songs, the Beastie Boys, the Beach Boys, right? The Beach Boys took some of his songs and made millions off of it. Fortunately, when he came out, he sued them and he won. But that had happened to a lot of performers from back in that time. But what it brought was basically all our music, even up until today, with the beats, the drums, and that, like again, it started all the way from Africa, that one beat and drum. So what that did was it set up rhythm for us, and that's why you have what they call the R&B, which is rhythm and blues. Like I said, again, other than that, we would have all still been doing like the English square dance, and you know.
So thank God, Bob.
So how on the night of the Vaudeville Con, how are we going to be able to have the blues incorporated?
So we've created between me and Bob, we created the first ever we made it the longest name too. The International Vaudeville All-Star Blues Band. So we're going to have Gia Federico. She goes to NAMM every year. That's a major music conference, and she's one of the top 10 female guitarists in the world. She's coming. Frank Breen's coming. He's with the Connecticut Blues Hall of Fame. Dave Eastwood's coming. He's ambassador of the Connecticut Blues Hall of Fame. We're going to have Cynthia Sinatra. She's going to be there. Marcy and Jim Hooper. Those two both played with Pine Top Perkins, and Marcy knew Muddy Waters and all that. They're going to be coming. They're going to be playing in this major, huge band. Bob's going to be performing. I'm going to be performing. We're all going to be doing a giant jam session that whole night. And then there's going to be hula hoopers. There's going to be hula dancers. My good friend there, his name's Train Conductor Billy. He's a conductor for the Essex train ride. He does these things where it's a drill where he throws a shotgun in the air and does the twirling and stuff like that. And he's going to be doing that. There's going to be, I purposely structured it so it is a traditional vaudeville show. Every 3 minutes is going to be something different on the main stage. And then there's going to be, in between that, there's going to be, what's it called? Panel discussions. Evan Ginsberg, producer of the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke and 350 Days, he's going to be there. He's going to talk about anything that's in Hollywood, anything you want. We're going to have Mike Messier. He was in a film with Meryl Streep, starred right along with her. He's going to be talking about what's going on, and just a whole bunch of other things. There's going to be a variety of stuff we're going to talk about. Angela Graham is the first bodybuilder in the United Kingdom to win, a female bodybuilder to win. She was the first pioneer in the United Kingdom for that. So she's going to be there. ECW pro wrestler Angel Orsini, she's going to be there. They're all going to be there. And what my vision was to create a modern vaudeville. And this is the best of what vaudeville would be. And my goal eventually along the line is to create a quarterly thing at the Pawcatuck VFW. Now myself and Bethanny over there, we've established the Pawcatuck VFW players. And my biggest thing for this event, that night, is 4 years ago I got a world record. Your father recorded my world record, And, you know, I thought I was going to be great, and things were given to me, and didn't happen that way, you know. And, you know, in fact, the reason why we're giving this to the Pawcatuck VFW is because 4 years ago I wasn't in a good place, because even though I had a world record and got all famous and stuff, it didn't really pan out the way I thought it was going to be. And places like the Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center and the local food locker, they helped me a great deal. So that's the big reason why we're giving back. And that's the big reason why we're doing what we're doing with the Pawcatuck VFW players, is because everyone should have a chance to learn film. Film saved my life, okay? Bottom line, it saved my life, okay? So if I didn't have film, if someone didn't give me a chance, if anyone here didn't give me a chance, the Franks or anything like that, I wouldn't be here right now. I learned the majority of the stuff here at SEC TV, and then the rest of my cinematography training came with Bijou Viswant, who flew a plane over here to teach me how to properly do and shoot like a world-class filmmaker, which I ironically got that award like 2 weeks ago. So this event is to help give back to the community. We try to emphasize on that. And again, Bethanny is spearheading this with Liz and everyone else. They're working on the VFW players and trying to perfect what we could offer and eventually offer to children. I've been talking to Fitch High School, my alma mater. I think, did you go to Fitch?
Yes, Chris, I told you I graduated with your mother. Okay, I don't know how many times I've had to tell you that, but yes.
But we like to work a deal with them where we teach kids
right,
film.
Chris.
But Bethany's got more information on the Pawcatuck VFW and the VFW
I'd like to hear about that, Bethanny. And by the way, just so everybody knows, Chris has come a long way. I've watched him grow, and he's in a good place. And congratulations to you, Chris.
Yeah, it sounds like you worked for that award.
Certainly worked for it.
Not just ironic, but like that you deserved
and he's
it.
bringing it back into the community, which is a really good thing. At the VFW, we have a lot of people that come in. I belong to the auxiliary, a lot of people do. The Post also has a lot of members, but we have people that just come in. We throw a lot of benefits and everything. We know a lot of people, and there's some people that need that little extra oomph, or they're looking for something. And Chris has worked with quite a few people, and it's like when they're in the films that he's shooting, you know, the little shorts that he does, you can see them bloom. And it creates camaraderie, it gives them some self-confidence, and it's really good. It also helps with, you know, depression or just a feeling of, gee, I'm not worth anything. It really helps. And a lot of people are now involved in it, and they look forward to anytime he finishes a shoot, they want to know, well, when am I going to be on TV? When am I going to? And it's really, it's a great thing. It gives back, and people appreciate that, and hopefully it just continues.
Well, I like what you said, that they build a little bit of confidence, and they know that, you know, through the VFW players that they do matter.
Right.
That's a big
You know
part
what I mean?
of the
They really do
Yeah.
matter.
Is the theater is it's an ensemble, you know. It's,
Yeah,
you can't-
absolutely. And you
usually
know,
don't work
you've
by
done
yourself.
theater yourself. So we do have I think we have some photos as well. Do we have photos?
Yes.
Because we only have a few more minutes. I do want to show these photos and maybe one clip of Bob's.
That's the logo.
Yep.
Yep. And we came. So that saying right there, "We're only as strong as your weakest link." I was taught that when I was in the fire department, and it was mentioned when I was training for pro wrestling. Susan Tex Green said that it was the greatest thing that I ever heard, and it's true. And we act as a team, and that's it. So that's
And there's the players,
that's the group, yeah.
And then I think we have a few more.
Yeah, they've joined after that. That was the first time that we were all together at the Pawcatuck VFW.
Yeah.
And then more came when they saw that.
And
it was
then
like,
they
well,
wanted
gee,
to
maybe.
join.
And Chris approached a lot of people and said, look, I'm looking for this. Can you
That's the
help?
award there.
That's the award. Okay.
It was very nice of them to give us that.
And do we have another one?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Wow, that says it all.
Yeah.
Listen, well, you got to go just to find out about all this wonderful things that are going on. And so we want to make sure that, there's another.
And Beth,
That's great.
That's Billy. He does the gun tricks.
Yeah.
There's Liz. She's doing really good with film right now.
Yeah.
And that's us.
back.
Oh, that's us. Okay.
So why don't we just give, we only have a few seconds, but Bob, why don't you just, you've got your scrapbook there, we can just open up we've only got a couple of minutes, but I'd like to see some of those pictures.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with the very first man. His name was Blind Lennon Jefferson. And what he did was he actually took the music and started putting it in writing terms, and as far as writing music. And then we have some of the actual people that never got recognized, like Lightning Hopkins.
Okay, just hold it right up there.
Yeah, there's a picture of him right there.
Okay.
You know, for people to see. And then there was the three kings. There was B.B. King, Albert King, and what was the other one's name?
Benny King.
No, oh gosh, I can't remember his name now. But like people knew Howlin' Wolf, but they didn't know Petey Wheatstraw. Okay. Petey Wheatstraw was another one that contributed a lot into this, and I'm gonna keep just try to roll through here pretty fast for you. Jimmy Witherspoon. Okay, some people didn't know who he was, but these are all the legends that put together the foundation for us. And here's another one that a lot of people really don't know, but he was tremendous. And his name was Cub Cooter, okay? And he performed in a lot of different movies, but you never seen him. You heard him.
See, the thing with Bob, real quick, is he did a lot of sound for a lot of them. Then there was Gabe Mouse Brown, okay? A lot of people didn't know who he was, okay? But like I said, these guys are all pioneers. Junior Wells, a lot of people knew who he was, and of course, B.B. King, the autograph for B.B. King. That's one
there
of
you
the
go, Bob.
W.C. Clark, he was another one, okay, that a lot of people didn't know about, and he did a lot as far as putting music in perspective. He followed out into like the country music. A lot of people used to look at him and automatically say, well, he's going to play the blues, and he would take out a fiddle and start playing it. Okay, so he got a lot of recognition from it. But what we try to do, and then there's a lot of women that were pioneers back in those days. Bessie Smith was one of them. Okay, and back in those days, women weren't allowed to even think about singing the blues or performing on stage or anything like that. And they got together. And they opened up a lot of doors for the women back in those days. The most recent one was, she sang the song, At Last. What was her name again? I can't remember her name. No, it was after Billie Holiday.
Etta James.
Yeah. Yep.
Etta James.
Etta James was one of the pioneers too. She was more of a modern day pioneer. But it did a lot for the women movement back in those days. It really did. And they helped a lot. They really did. They opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that jam.
Real quick plug. We're also doing a zombie film 2 hours before the event.
Of course
and it's for Caden. This young boy, he's not doing too good. So we're going to do it for him and help raise money for what he's going through right now. So.
Thank you. So anyways, I mean, we could talk all night, but I just want to reach back out to Chris and this wonderful event that's happening. You see it on the lower screen. Kristin, Bethanny, Bob, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And great. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Mystic matters. You matter. All of us matter. We'll see you next week.